Yeah, g'day YouTubers, Tinker O'Toole with another video. Hope you enjoy the video today. Please subscribe to the channel. Any comments, thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Yeah, g'day YouTubers, this is Tinker O'Toole, again out in the garage playing around with the grinder. Today we're going to talk about using an electric grinder, and I'm sure if you've used an electric grinder, you may have read or even experienced it where you turn around and say, oh, one side is grinding more than the other side, and you can't understand why. And that is because two things. You might find out that this arm that's on the backstop is bent crooked. Could be bent this way, to the left or to the right. That means that the backstop is not going to sit dead level. And if it's not sitting dead level, it can be out, pushing to the left or pushing to the right. Also the backstop. Now, I order these backstops. Normally I get two at a time or something, because I've got about 7 or 8 grinders, Oregon type grinders. And normally when you get them in a kit, you get the spring. That's a little tiny spring that's on here. The one that comes with these clones is useless. It's too strong. This is very, very fine. So this is the spring that comes in the kit. That's the kit that you get the little backstop in there, and you get the little nut on there and the spring. Now, one of the other problems that causes problems is the backstop has a radius over here. Now, this radius itself doesn't cause problems. Well, it depends on the user where you put that. And first of all, I'll show you the radius. So we'll zoom in just so that you can see the radius. So if we get this ruler and we put this here, you can see quite clearly between the left side and the right side, in the middle is the highest point, and they taper down. I've seen them up to 1 millimetre out, so that's actually quite a lot. Now, I've found out that the best way to eliminate that problem is to use a backstop that has been filed dead flat, and this one's been filed dead flat. So we'll zoom back in, and what that means is, I'll just get that sitting right. That's sitting dead flat like that. So therefore, being dead flat, it won't matter what position that the actual stop's in, because if it's sitting to the left or sitting to the right or into the middle, because it's dead flat here and no radius, you don't have the radius error. So the other way to check this, to make sure that it's lined up, we'll just take that hairspring off carefully, is what I did. There's a little blue texture line on here. I put this little straight edge on here, and I marked that blue line on there. So that's 90 degrees to the guide bar, the slot. It's also 90 degrees to this arm. Now, the alignment, as I spoke earlier before, this alignment is critical, and what I did was put that blue line on there, and if we come around here and move this forwards, you can see that that lines up perfect. So if it is out a little bit, all as I did was just bent it a little bit, one millimetre till I got it dead level. Now that I've got the actual backstop level, as I said, it doesn't matter when the backstop's in there. If you've got a brand new chain, you could still sometimes have to move this to the left or to the right. So let's have a look at that. So let's just say you've got the radius on there and you want to keep the radius and you don't want to file it flat. We'll actually put the radius one on. That's the radius one here. So if you're going to use this one, the one that's got the radius, and you're going to do a left-hand tooth, you've got to make sure that if you push it over into this position to the left side, that it's in the same position when you move it to the right side. And what that means is that this guide rail edge lines up with that edge there. So if I move it to this side, I move it into this position so that this guide rail lines up with that side, not move it like that. Because that's going to mean that you're partially on the radius, halfway on the radius, and you could be up to 0.5 millimetre out rather than have it like that. So you've got to make sure that you've got it even either side. But isn't it so much simple if you actually grind it or file it flat that it doesn't matter where it is, there is no more radius to cause that error. The only reason they put a slight radius on it is so that if they've got a slight radius like this, that you get a little bit more clearance on the grinding wheel as it comes towards the edge. That's the only reason there's a little bit of a clearance there. Not because it looks pretty, it gives it a little bit more clearance. So it just means that if you file it flat, you've got to be even a little bit more careful. The only time that you're going to grind off the edge of it is if you're not watching what you're doing and you don't move it to the left when you do the left side and you don't move it to the right side. So the whole idea is that if we're going to do a left-hand tooth, we move this to the left side, like roughly about in that position. And if we move it, do a right hand, we move it into that position. And as I said, I'm sure that even an experienced user may turn around and say, oh, look, I've had this grinder for years and I don't know why, but my other grinder never seemed to ground the left and the right more even than this current one that I've got. You know, this one that I've got at the moment always seems to grind more on the right-hand side. Well, you might find out that your alignment between your left and right on your backstop is different. And that's why it's much better to have it dead flat, because being dead flat rather than have a radius will eliminate all the error. And that's what it's about, eliminating that error. And that's what I've found, and I'm passing that information on. And hopefully for those that have had that problem will appreciate this technical tip that I'm giving. So if that technical tip helps, give us a thumbs up and let us know. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.